For this video, I want to show you how to do long division when you do have a remainder. So just to review a couple of terms with you, just in case you need to review them, the number underneath the division symbol is known as the dividend. The number doing the dividing is called the divisor. And the answer is going to be the quotient. So just in case it gives you in that form rather than setting it up the way that I already have set it up. All right, so let's get started. When we do this, the first thing that we want to do is take the number that is out here and see if it will go into the first number. If it can't, we can put a 0 to represent that 9 and 3. I cannot take 3 divided by 9 and get a whole number, since 3 is smaller than 9. So now I have to look at the first two numbers. 9 goes into 38. It doesn't go in evenly, but I know that 9 times 4 gives me 36. And so if I do 4 times 9, I get 36. When I subtract this, I get a value of 2, which is less than 9. Had I got a value that was larger than 9, then that means that I didn't pick a big enough number for here. All right, so for the next one, what we would do is, I know 9 can't go into 2, but I have another value right here where I can bring it down. And I can see how many times does 9 go into 29. So 9 goes into 29 3 times. Again, it's not going to be evenly because 3 times 9 gives me 27. But 3 times 9, 27 is the closest thing that I can find to 29. So knowing your multiplication tables is critical to being able to do long division. So now if I subtract these two, 29 minus 27 gives me 2. And I can see that 9 does not go into 2. I don't have any numbers left, and I don't want a decimal approximation for this one. So what we would do is you can either write it as 43 remainder 2. If you're in elementary school, most likely this is how you are going to be writing your answer. If you are in an algebra class or something else that's a higher level math class, then most likely you would write your answer as 43, and you would take your remainder and put it over your divisor and write it as a mixed number, so 43 and 2/9. So if you're studying mixed numbers, you would write it this way. If you are just writing it as a remainder, you would write it as 43 remainder 2. All right, so for the next one, what we are going to do is this time we're going to take 3,372 and divide it by 11. So now I have two numbers that I'm trying to go into. So I can see that 11 will not go into 3. 11 goes into 33, and this one happens to be even, so we know that it goes in 3 times. So then I would do 3 times 11, which gives me 33. And when I subtract this, I get 0 because they cancel out. So I'm going to bring down my next term. And I can see that 11 cannot go into 7 because 7 is smaller than 11. So when that happens, you just put a 0 up here as part of your quotient. This 0 is optional. You don't need it. It's just really a placeholder. This 0 is not optional. Okay, that means that it goes into there 300 times, so I need the tens place for sure. All right, so since it can't go into just the 2, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down, just into the 7, I'm going to bring down the 2 to help me. So I'm going to see, okay, what would I multiply 11 by to get close to 72? I know that if I do 11 times 7, it gets me at 77, so that would go over, so that won't work. So for this one, I would do 11 times 6 would be the number that gets me the closest. So if I do 6 times 11, I get 66. And when I subtract this, I have to borrow from the 7 and do 12 minus 6, which is 6. So I can write it as 306 with a remainder of 6. Or, like I said, if you're in a class where you're studying mixed numbers, you would write the answer as 306 and 6/11. So if you want to, you can write it as a mixed number by just taking the remainder and putting it over the divisor. As always, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know. If there are additional topics that you need me to cover, please let me know that as well.